Hey, here we are. Look at us. Look at us live. We're live here. We're back. It's the Sling'n Proffet podcast. We are back. Season 2, episode 1. I know we've had a long time off, Prophet. We've had such a long time off. I forgot how to bring the show in, apparently. But yeah, don't adjust your set. I'm trimming down a little bit, growing out the beard. Prophet, it's been 2 long months. Talk to the people about what you've been doing with your time and how you've been spending it, man.
It does. Well, for starters, welcome back to everybody, and we're looking forward to we're going right through the end of the football season now, and then on. But it doesn't seem like it's been 2 months. I mean, time flew. It's just been so busy.
I checked today. It was May. Our last show was May 8th. We did it right after. Yeah. So we got June 8th, July 8th. A little bit more than 2 months. So, but I'll tell you what, there's not, these summer months, they kind of drag a little bit. And when you're primarily football based, you got to take some time off to recharge the batteries because, trying to do this thing 12 months out of the year is pretty tough. So,
well, sure. And you need a full battery once football season starts. And had we been, trying to run the show with, nothing to talk about, number one, people ain't going to listen and view in. And number two, I don't like talking about nothing.
Yeah. Well, you don't like talking about the WNBA and baseball and golf for,
hockey,
you can talk, hockey,
basketball,
all stuff we're going to talk about tonight and touch on tonight. So, of course, but
that's okay though, because we're going to be talking football too. So I can put up with all the other stuff.
Larry's back in, checking in. Welcome, Larry. Good to be back, buddy. Good to be back. We're in this for the long haul, and tonight we're starting with you. We got a loaded show coming up tonight. We're going to talk about some things, and then we're going to dive into our divisional breakdowns. And our first division that we're going to talk about, many people are calling the most intriguing division in the NFL, and I would tend to agree with them, the NFC North, and we're going to kind of dive into our breakdowns of the NFC North and make our predictions there, and it'll be fun for you guys to chime in where you see fit. And I know Larry, big time Bears fan, so it's been 2 months of things happening, and you've probably been hearing more about your beloved Bears than we have. So we're looking forward to that interaction. But yeah, we've been going, like I said, we've been going for 2 months. And we're gonna roll now. We got 8 straight weeks of divisional breakdowns. That'll lead us right into in the meantime, we'll be in preseason. We'll talk a little bit about it tonight. Like camps are opening up, training camps are opening up already. There's some teams that already have their rookies in training camp. So the time is here. And Prophet, I was talking to you a little bit earlier today and asked you if you wanted to touch on any fantasy football stuff, because there are those crazies out there who are currently having drafts already. So, it won't be long before we're getting into your fantasy football plays. And hey, it's an exciting time of year. Football is back. Before we know it, we'll be dissecting the Hall of Fame game. I think that's at the beginning of August or end of July?
First week of August, I believe.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, we got two weeks here to really, dissect some stuff. And then, like I said, with camps rolling in, there's going to be a ton of storylines coming out for camps and whatnot. So, hey, we're back. We're getting back into it. We're excited. We got some new things planned for you. We'll talk about it later. I know the plays of the week is going to change up a little bit. We're going to change the way we do that. I want to get back into running a weekly pool or pick'em pool or whatever it is, the way we used to do on the Blitz. I think we could do something like that with no problem using the technology that we have. So we got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. Of course, there's going to be prizes for the top winner and things like that. So we got a lot of exciting stuff on the horizon. But Prophet, I know before we went on, you're just jazzed up, man, because hey, it's football time, and that's all you're looking forward to.
Football's my game. Football's my sport. Football's my betting angles. Football's my time of the year, and I am stoked. If you can't tell,
I was going to say, if I remember correctly, towards the end of last season. Was it the end of last football season that you went on a little dry spell, with your picks, or was that not football season?
No, that
You
wasn't
went
football.
cold.
Yeah, that was early spring with the golf, and
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I didn't go cold per se. Just didn't hit the way I was hitting with the football. I mean, hell, you can't hit 80%, every day, in every
Yeah,
sport,
and I remember putting that video out too about hitting at whatever clip you were hitting at. I think you were hitting at what, a 70%.
78%. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
78% clip, where these betting sites that you're paying for are hitting it, 45 to 46 to even lower percent. So, and we give it away free here on the Sling'n Proffet podcast. So make sure you guys are tuning in every Wednesday night live, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to dive into it. Let's see if I can still
Well,
remember how to control. Go ahead.
before you go on, I mean, what have you been doing for the past couple of months, Lang?
Uh, a lot of soccer, Prophet. All right, my daughter, our oldest Kaylee, she's been keeping us busy with all these college camps and college visits. We've seen three different schools already, and with me being a teacher, I'm off for the summer. So it's been daddy daycare. It's been if we have a college visit scheduled that day, one of the in-laws is able to take the two little ones, and then I'm driving around all over the East Coast with Kaylee, trying to find her a college that she deems fit. Other than that, we've been, we started our football season, which you might be able to tell from the glow and the tan. We
And the
started our
horse
camp.
voice?
Yeah, I tried not to yell a whole lot this week, knowing that I was coming back to the podcast. But yeah, we had a team camp this week. It's been the hottest week in New Jersey all summer. It was 98 on Monday, 100 on Tuesday, and 98 again today. So we wrapped that up today, and now I'm off for the rest of the week. Honestly, well, I'm still daddy daycare, but no football for the rest of the week. That's why I'm indulging in a couple Coors lattes. Well, they're not Coors, they're Millers. Not my preference, but yeah. So that's what I'm doing. Just running around all summer.
Nice.
Watching the kids and doing the college thing. So
That's a beautiful thing.
a lot of miles on the car. Need new tires, so the tires are worn. So I'm gonna get that, and we'll get going there. But
Well, you just follow my picks in a couple of weeks, and you'll have tires in no time.
It sounds good. Let's see if I can remember how to pull up this what is it called? The PowerPoint here, so that way we can start talking about some stuff. We got one person every way. There we go. Hey, it wasn't too bad. It's like riding a bike, Prophet.
Yeah.
Let's dive into it. Hey, we're not all football here. We're a diverse bunch of guys. So let's talk about what's happening. Let's talk a little bit about the Major League Baseball All-Star game that took place last night. And you surprised me, Prophet, because for somebody who grew up as such a baseball guy, you told me you haven't watched a lick of it, recently, which is surprising to me. What changed with the baseball? Because even growing up is one thing, but even in a couple years ago, you still followed it and you were still up to date on it. What kind of fell off for baseball for you?
I still follow it. Being in a league, and I gamble on it. So, last night I didn't watch any of the game. That doesn't mean I didn't have a little wager on the over, but I wake up the next morning. It just doesn't do it for me. It's not exciting. I like being out at the park.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, where I'm at here in Tennessee, we don't have a baseball team anyway. I mean, we've
got the Smokies. You got the Tennessee Smokies down there.
Yeah. Yeah, we got, a minor league team, but we don't have a pro team per se, and I don't know, just watching baseball on TV just doesn't do it for me.
The pitch clock doesn't. You don't like the pitch clock.
I don't like the pitch clock at all.
All right, so you're saying you're more of if you're watching baseball, you're more of a traditionalist anyway. Let it be played in its natural form, is what you're saying.
Absolutely, I don't. It's stupid that they try and rush the game so that they can add more commercials, to pay
Yeah.
salaries. Like, come on, you can't force it. You're going to end up with guys, blowing their arms out
And they
because,
are. They are. They're
yeah,
the Tommy John surgeries are going up at a rapid pace. You mentioned a little wager on the All-Star game last night. It's funny you say that because within my group chat, me and my buddies call it free money night because all you have to do is on All-Star game night for Major League Baseball, you bet on the American League and you're going to win money, except for last year. The AL beats the NL 5-3 last night for the 10th out of the 11th year. And I think the series is some kind of ridiculous number, but the National League does not do well in these All-Star games, even though they changed over to the DH. There's a universal DH now. Like, I don't know what the deal is, but National League just can't seem to get it done against the AL. And
well,
I didn't watch. Good.
There was a time where that number was flip flopped, and the AL couldn't win a game. If I'm not mistaken, it was the late '90s, early 2000s that the NL just totally dominated the game. But I don't know. It's again. Do they still have? Is there still any reason to play it?
No. I looked that up today because they used to do like the winning team gets home field advantage in the World Series, and I think that they did away with that. So
yeah,
I don't believe there's a reason to play it. I didn't watch any of the All-Star game. I did watch a little bit of the Home Run Derby though, and it's kind of weird because I feel like the rules of the Home Run Derby changes every year, and it's impossible to keep up with the rule changes that they do. Now you get in the first round, you get 3 minutes or 40 pitches, whichever comes first. Like it's just weird, man. And every home run over 425 feet, you get an additional out. It's just weird to me. I did see the worst rendition of the national anthem in my life sung before the home run derby. I don't want to. Well, the girl came out and she admitted on social media that she was drunk and she was checking herself in the rehab yesterday. So if that's the case, then I hope she gets the help that she needed. But God, that was a terrible rendition. And her being drunk could explain it.
I hope they take her pay and pay the rehab place then, because she certainly should not get paid if she comes out and admits that she was drunk.
Yeah, well, it was so bad, and she was getting raked over the coals so bad on social media that she did come out and say, "Hey, I was drunk, not proud of it. I'm checking myself into rehab." So yeah, hopefully she gets the help she needs, and maybe they'll have her back and she'll do a better rendition. Who knows? But that was just.
Well, she was a country singer, wasn't she?
Yeah, country singer.
Well,
She sang.
of course she's
They
drunk.
said.
I mean, come on, that goes hand in hand.
Country girl, shake it for me. I get it, but like, she sang that. It's almost like she was singing it in cursive. Oh, say it was weird, man. So,
yeah, Mrs. Proffet told me about it this morning. Yeah, and I was but
we're
that's
moving
crazy.
on to another event that I know that you're very excited about. Listen, I joke about it, but I'm kind of excited here for the Olympics starting on July 24th. I don't know. There's nothing else going on in the summer, in my opinion, and this is a nice filler of things that you could just watch on any time of day. You're going to turn on the TV, and there's going to be some kind of Olympic sport on it. It could be figure skating, or it could be like horses dancing, or it could be guys throwing a frisbee or something. But you're going to turn on the TV, and it's something on TV, and it's enjoyable to me. I try and I got pride in my country. I want us to take home the medal crown. Prophet, what do you think about the Olympics? Are you a fan of them? Do you enjoy watching them? And if you do, what's your favorite Olympic sport?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, this year anyhow, not to turn the show political, but my biggest concern is there's a lot of problems going on in Paris in France right now with their government, and I'm just hoping that there's no issues over there, for any of the countries. Hopefully, everybody can go over there, and do their thing and be safe, and we can enjoy the games. And yeah, I do. I like some of them. Some of the events I can do without, but I guess in reality, my favorite is the beach volleyball, and I mean, even the guys,
You talk about the guys beach volleyball?
even the guys, I would like. I mean, I like watching beach volleyball. Yes, the girls are more fun to watch, but you know, the, I mean, both the guys and the girls, man. I used to play volleyball when I was young, not seriously, but I played a lot on the beach, played a lot in backyards, and I was actually pretty good at it. And when it went to the beach and became a sport, I thought that was great because playing on the beach is difficult. Playing in
Sure.
that sand and having to jump in that sand, it's a tough sport. But,
I agree, and
but
I that was one of my top picks was the beach volleyball. I do enjoy watching that. I like the 2-on-2 aspect because they do have beach volleyball and they have regular volleyball, but the regular volleyball is like 7-on-7 or whatever it is, and
yeah,
it's
six
indoors.
six, right?
It's like kind of boring. I like the I like the 2-on-2 aspect. Larry says that breakdancing is an Olympic sport now. I actually saw that because I'm on the Olympic site looking at all the the sports that they do have. They're going to have flag football, which I'm curious about, but that's not going to be until 2028. So if I
See
had to
now,
choose, good.
well, break just to go back to the breakdancing. Okay, now when I'm walking down the streets in New York City, before years ago, and you see somebody out there breakdancing, it was like it was fun to sit there and watch them. They're good, but an Olympic sport,
Yeah.
no, I'm not going to be watching breakdancing
The
for
thing
the
that I don't
Olympics.
get, you got baseball, you got basketball, you got 3-on-3 basketball. Um, I do watch. I like watching the speed skating. I was always a big speed skating fan, so
Well,
I'll
that's
definitely
winter,
tune into that. No, it's summer too, so
summer,
um,
really?
yeah, yeah,
They,
that
they
and
have ice
hockey.
there?
Yeah, they put the they're indoors. They got regulated temperatures indoors. Profit. Yeah, speed skating is definitely a summer sport or
I did not
Summer
know that.
Olympics. Yep. One of my favorites to watch, I think you said beach volleyball. I like to watch badminton. I like the speed skating, and then the I guess honorable mention would be like the BMX bikes. Like I'm really like I think that's pretty cool watching those guys ride the bikes. But like you said, it's an Olympic sport. You're kind of taken back by it a little bit, but they you ride the bikes and the ramps and they're doing flips and stuff. It's just cool to watch. It's mindless television.
Well,
That's what I
sure.
that's what I like to consider it. So anyway, that starts on I think opening
Next
ceremonies is
Wednesday.
Friday, July 24th. I do believe that a couple events open the day before the 23rd. So keep your eyes out for that and go USA. And not for nothing to kind of trace back to what you said. It's kind of sad that you even have to touch on the fact that you just you wish everybody's safe and and everything goes off smoothly. It's kind of where we're at in the world, and you wish you didn't have to say things like that, but the unfortunate reality is that we do, obviously, given recent events. So we do hope that everybody goes and has a safe time and just enjoys themselves, and hopefully America can bring home that the gold or the medal count.
Well, you got the events that are going to be in 2028 and so forth. When are they actually putting pole dancing in there?
Let's
Is
see,
that
pole
is that
dancing, pole
scheduled?
dancing. Um, no, I don't see that one on the list. Prophet, you might be
Uh,
thinking of a different kind of Olympics.
that might be at the dollhouse I was thinking about. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Also the beer Olympics, they don't have the chugging of the boot or anything like that on there either. So
Yeah, no 12-ounce curls or
no.
mm,
Speaking of an Olympic sport, Prophet, we talked about this, a little bit more than we should have a couple months ago. Maybe not. I don't want to say more than we should have, but more than I thought we would. We talked about this. We talked about the Caitlin Clark effect to the WNBA. We talked about Angel Reese. We talked about, let's see what this would do to the WNBA over a period of time. And now, granted, it's been a short period of time, but it's been a period of time. It's been almost I don't know how long the WNBA season is, but it's been a while. You're talking playoffs, you're talking All-Star game. It's been a while. The Caitlin Clark effect. The WNBA viewership is at an all-time high, Prophet. Granted, the high is not that high.
The
You're
bar was
talking,
low, but
we're talking, at the highest rated game is bringing in 2.3 million viewers, which is still a good number for the WNBA. They've never been anywhere close to it. But I'm looking at this list here, and I know it's tough to see on your screen, but they have a list of 10 games. I'm sorry. They have a list of all the 1 million viewer games this season. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Excuse me. So there's 15 WNBA games this season that have garnered at least 1 million viewers. Okay. 14 out of 15 of those games included the Indiana Fever.
Go figure.
Go figure. So you want to talk to me about Caitlin Clark and how this league isn't going to revolve around her, or we don't need. She's just one player, or she's just a lowly rookie who needs to earn her keep. Stop talking. Okay,
Yeah.
Stop. That argument is dead. Okay, that argument is obsolete. If I'm the other women in the WNBA, I'm sending Caitlin Clark a Christmas card with the best batch of cookies you could find for giving and providing everything that she has done for this league. You're talking about millions and millions of dollars in revenue from television because of her. You're talking about they got private chartered airplanes now, finally, which they never had before because of her. And they're going to say, oh, it's not because of her. It is because of her. Because look at these numbers. Look at these numbers. There's 15 games that have had over a million viewers, and Caitlin Clark played in 14 of them. There was only one other game that didn't involve the Fever. So don't talk to me about this girl needs, she's not the only reason we're on the map now. She is the only reason you're on the map. And you'll like it or not. It's the truth.
Exactly. And, you just hope that at some point in time, all these other women realize this. I mean, maybe
instead of trying to take her head off every friggin' night with flagrant and blatant fouls.
Maybe they do realize it. They just don't like the fact that, like some of the veterans have been doing it 6-7 years, and, all of a sudden this girl comes in and everybody wants to see the WNBA. But, hey, whatever the reason, be happy. Be happy that you're not riding in a plane that's got 2 dodo birds outside flying. You got a chartered plane. You're playing in front of 15,000 instead of 1,500 or 150.
You're not wrong there. You're not wrong there. I mean, attendance is up. Attendance is up for the league as a whole. And again, you go to an Indiana game, you'll be lucky to get a ticket because it's a sellout almost every night. So
I saw an article last week that said every game that she's played in on the road has sold out. So
I mean, the kids love her. The little girls love her. It's just like with the U.S. women's soccer team. Every time they would go somewhere, they would sell out because the kids. They would always look up to her. Or look up to them. So. Listen, I can't sit there and say that I've watched a WNBA game this year. I might have browsed through and maybe had it on in the background for a couple minutes, but that's about it. But I just wanted to revisit that, and it's probably the last time we're going to talk about that for a while, because we talked about it a couple months ago, and we said let's see how it'll play out, and it's playing out now. So that's where we're at with it. I think that's it for our non-football related topics. anyway, we could dive into the good stuff now, and we talked about it earlier. Prophet, the training camps are underway. There's some teams that are already in training camp with their rookies. I know Pittsburgh, or I'm sorry, who's this? San Fran? Yeah, San Francisco rookies are already in. Buffalo rookies are already in. Chicago Bear rookies are already in. And then the vets are not far behind. You know, we got veterans coming in as early as tomorrow. It looks like Chicago. The vets are in on the 19th. So it's here, Prophet.
They're
I
back.
mean, you talk about training camps, and I don't think that they're the way they used to be with the NFL. You know, two and three practices a day. It's a lot more focused on rest and recovery and preserving your bodies, especially with the new schedule. But the fact of the matter is, it's July 17th, and we've already got teams that have reported to training camp for the 2024-2025 NFL season. And I can get behind that because I am ready to go as well. So,
I mean, that's one of the rules that I liked that the NFL, implemented over the years. And, them 2 and 3 a days, man, years ago, when you're talking about being out in 100-degree temperatures and all, I mean, that was good for nobody. And the fact that they put, there's all guidelines now that the teams have to follow, I think that's a beautiful thing.
I'm with you. I mean, I was dealing with it today. I told you we had our football camp today, and it was 98 degrees, and yesterday was 100 degrees. But we're out there at we started at 8 a.m. and we're off by 10:15, so it didn't get too bad. Plenty of water breaks. A lot of rest, a lot of recovery. Guys take your helmets off and take a 5-minute break every now and then. But I'm with you. I don't think that there was any need for the 2 and 3 practices a day. Now, listen, you want to go one full padded practice and you want to come back in the evening and you want to go through a walkthrough or something like that with no equipment and you're just doing some install stuff. I'm fine with that. I got no problem with that. But these guys were going to, full padded. They were going,
hard.
Full pads in the morning and then, helmet and shoulder pads in the afternoon. Like it's unnecessary. And guys were dropping like flies. And, I think the NFL and I think the country and the sport as a whole has gotten better, at being more cognizant and safer.
Well, plus you used to have a lot of people holding out. The veterans would hold out until training camp was just about.
Shit, I would too. If I was going through.
Who does that benefit though?
Yeah,
it doesn't benefit the team at all. So if you make it easier along the way or make it safer, not so much easier, but you make it safer for everybody to be out there, it's better that you have 70, 80 people out there than 20 of your top dogs aren't there. You're not getting a lot accomplished.
Yeah, and to that point, I mean, talking about somebody who is not going to be holding out for sure. And I know this happened a little while ago, and we haven't been on the air, so I want to touch on it for a variety of reasons. Justin Jefferson, arguably the number one receiver in the NFL. Is that an argument, Prophet, or no?
Yeah.
Could you make that argument?
Yeah, I can make that argument.
All right, so Justin Jefferson goes out and gets himself a contract recently. He gets a 4-year, $140 million contract with, I believe it's $80 million guaranteed and up front or something along those lines. But he becomes the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. So, Prophet, with these, and the reason I bring this up is not only did he just set the market for the receiver position, which is probably, I mean, it used to be what they say the blind side. It used to be the highest paid position, the offense, the left tackle. You protect the quarterback, blah blah blah. That's not the case anymore. I think that the wide receiver position has become right up there with the quarterback position in terms of contracts, and this sets a precedent now for guys who are coming up in their contract year. You got guys like Jamar Chase, you got guys like CeeDee Lamb who are still waiting on a new deal. Prophet, how long do you think that this contract, this high contract, is going to last? Because do you think one of those guys is going to break that number?
Let me put it this way, okay? Minnesota made such a monster mistake here, like giving this guy $140 million, and the reason I say that, and I'm going to touch deeper on it when we get into the division because this is the division that we're covering tonight. But you're paying this guy based on what he has done, which is great, okay? But other guys are going to be looking at what he does this year, and he's not going to have anywhere near the year that he's had his first 4 years in the league. And guys are going to, not double his output, but they're going to do a lot more than what he does this year. And they're going to say, hey, he's getting 140. I deserve 180.
Yeah, like you said, we'll talk about, I guess, dive further into that when we get into our division breakdown. But yeah, I agree with that. There's kind of a method to it as far as stats go, and guys are going to be comparing numbers and say, hey, I'm doing this. Why is he making this much more money than me? Now, you talk about from an outside looking in perspective, do you put, let's say, for instance, I mentioned two guys that are up for new contracts. I put CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase. Do you put those two guys in the same category as Justin Jefferson? Are they interchangeable?
Now, I actually think, closely by a little, Jefferson is probably the best receiver in football today. Okay. But that doesn't mean that he is going to be the best producing receiver in football this year or next or maybe the year after. A
Right.
lot has to do with who's throwing that ball to him. And this team has issues.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
he's going to make plays because of how good he is. But, he doesn't have Kirk Cousins throwing the ball to him this year. And it's going to show in his numbers.
let's put a lid on that one now until we get to them a little bit later in the show. But let's talk about, we're moving on to another receiver who's got some issues of his own. Um, and
Who's
it's
partner?
no, not
Oh,
his partner.
uh,
We're talking about Brandon Ayuk, and this one's been stirring for a while, Prophet, but just became official on Tuesday. Ayuk requests a trade from the 49ers. Uh, Arguably one of the, if he's not top tier receiver, he's a close second tier, right? He's a number one. I mean,
I,
you can make the argument that he's right up there with the rest of the guys.
I think he's in the top four in the league, receiver wise. I mean, he's that good. It's just that he's been he's been overshadowed by Debo out in San Fran.
Yeah,
And when Debo's hurt, you see what this guy produces.
yeah.
He
And
produces, Jefferson like numbers.
so they've been trying to work out a new contract, and apparently it's just not getting done. And there was, it says numerous unsuccessful attempts this offseason to reach a contract extension. Um, and he said the 49ers basically have been unwilling to engage in negotiations since May. So Ayuk has requested a trade. We will see if he does get traded. I'm sure that the Niners aren't in any rush to move him. But the fact of the matter is, somebody's going to have to pay this man, and they're going to have
Oh,
to pay him.
absolutely.
They're going to have to pay him a lot of money. So wherever he goes, they have to. It has to be the right situation for that team as well, because you're not going to bring this guy in for 1 year. I don't think, and when he's looking for a long-term deal. So um, I don't think the return on investment will be great there because of what you're going to have to give up to get him. So somebody's going to have to be able to pay. I haven't heard much as far as landing spots. Have you?
No, I haven't, but just sitting here playing it in my head, and uh, a good team for him to go to, man, could be the Steelers.
Really?
I mean, you got Russ throwing the ball to him this year, and then next year they've got Pickens there. Who Pickens, when his head is screwed on, is a damn good receiver, but when it's not always screwed on right. And other than Pickens, they're pretty thin. And Justin Fields is, supposedly their future. So they got to give him something to throw to, somebody to throw to. I could see him landing in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. And then the other one, the only one that I've seen that like has the only site that I've seen actually name a team possibility was the New Orleans Saints. So I don't know if that would be a good landing spot for him or not, but that was one name that I did see being thrown around was the Saints. I guess they have the money to be able to do it.
See, and Pittsburgh should have the money too. I don't know what kind of cap space they have, but I mean they're only paying Russell Wilson what $3 this year. They got him for nothing, so they should have a little bit of coin there to throw his way.
Yep.
I would just hate to see him end up on some bump team that doesn't have a quarterback, and he ends up being just a mediocre player the rest of his career.
Yeah, I'm sure he not something he wants either, but
No,
money
right.
talks too. So we'll see. Hey, let's dive into our breakdown here. So what we're gonna do is every week from here on out until we're done. So we got 8 weeks until the season starts, roughly. Prophet, I think.
Yep.
Is this gonna work out pretty much?
Our last week, our last division is a Wednesday, and the season starts on Thursday, I believe it is. Right.
All right. So we're gonna break down a division every week. We don't have any specific order that we're going in. We tossed it around the other day. We said, "Hey, who do you want to start with?" I said, "Well, let's start with the first NFL, with the first draft pick." And it just so happened to probably be the most intriguing division in football. So if you guys want to see a division, hey, put it in the comments for next week. Like, we'll do it. I don't care. Like I said, there's no rhyme or reason to us doing any of this stuff. So we're going to kind of break down. We'll go through key additions. We'll go through key losses. We'll go through what the over-under projection is on these teams for wins for the year. And then at the end after we talk about all 4 teams in the division, Prophet and I are going to make a pick based off of our plays of the week. We're going to put 200 points, let's say 200 points on a team that we love in that division for their over-under win. Listen, let me rephrase. Not necessarily a team that we love, a number that we love in that division to where we think that number of wins will either go over or under for the year, and we'll keep a tally of that for the entire year. So let's dive into it first. We're going to start from bottom to top. First up in the NFC North, I guess you can make a case because there was a tie for last place, right? I guess. So we're going to go, we're breaking down the Chicago Bears first. They had the first overall draft pick, finished 2023 with a 7-10 record, 2-4 record in the division. Head coach Matt Eberflus. Still weird to say that because I still don't have any idea who this guy is. Key additions in this offseason, obviously Caleb Williams, quarterback from USC. Haven't heard much about him coming out of OTAs. Haven't heard a whole lot of whether he's looking good or not. Maybe Larry can chime in on that and see what he's been hearing. Rome Odunze, I think, which is a great selection, wide receiver from University of Washington, right? And then a couple other pickups this year. Keenan Allen, which we'll talk about a little bit, but it's a pickup. Is he the same Keenan Allen as he was 5 years ago? I highly doubt it. Kevin Byard, nice safety, and DeAndre Swift, running back, which they definitely needed running back help. Prophet, let's talk a little bit about the Bears. Let's talk about these additions. Who on this list stood out to you or stands out to you as the Bears, best addition of the offseason, or is there a couple of them, or what do you think?
Well, I mean, obviously Caleb Williams is the story here, okay? Because the Bears are going to go as he goes. And if he struggles in his rookie season, Bears are going to have a down year. If he does well, the Bears are going to have a decent year. I don't see them having a great year by no means. I think the best they can do is good. And I'm just not real crazy. Dundee, yes, great college receiver. But as we've seen in the past, most receivers do not excel their first year. Most, I said, not all, but most. Okay. And Keenan Allen's going to be a good presence in the locker room. He's not got much left in the tank on the field.
I used to like Keenan Allen. I used to really like Keenan Allen.
I like him too. But at this stage in his career, he's more veteran leadership there than he's going to be a playmaker. And who else? They got more. They got a nice, if a Dundee steps up, they got a couple of nice receivers. They got a real nice tight end and, Komet. I'm not crazy about the DeAndre Swift pickup. It's, I personally think Swift.
Listen, Prophet, the DeAndre Swift thing, the lead, Justin Fields last year was the leading rusher on the team with 600 rushing yards.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's definitely better than what they had, but I still think Swift is a product of the system, not, a great running back. And, he was in Detroit to start his career. Then he went to Philly and, their offensive line isn't Philadelphia's offensive line.
No,
and
it certainly isn't.
He didn't have that great a season last year. Now again,
no, he didn't.
Is it because Philadelphia switches guys in a lot more often? He's going to be featured here, but in Detroit he was injury prone when he was featured too. So I just don't know that the moves they made are going to benefit them. They got a big O line, but they're very young. So that's not going to bode well for Williams. Their defensive line, they need to get pressure on the quarterback. I mean, other than Montez Sweat, their three projected starters last year combined for 42 tackles and 6 sacks. That's not going to butter the biscuit, no. in that division by no means. And
it's a really tough division, so they got to be, they got to be able to make some moves here, or they're not going to get by. They're just going to, I could see this division, and I don't want to give it away. We'll talk about it, but it's a tough division. I will say
sure. That. I mean, do you want to know where I sit as far as their record is?
No. Yeah. No.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you anyhow.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Let's talk. Yeah. Let's talk about where do you have them? I'm just going by over and under. All right. So we can talk about that. Let's talk about that. I'll give you my over under. You can give me a record prediction if you want. Brandon, before we do that, Brandon Peeble checking in. What's up, BP? Saying Caleb Williams is going to be a bust. Buddy, I couldn't agree with you more, my friend. I could not agree with you more. I've been saying that for months. This guy shouldn't have been the first overall pick, but here we are, and we're going into camp, and this kid's going to be thrown into the fire from day one. The
bad thing with them too is that they have absolutely no depth at quarterback. I mean,
who's Caleb Tyson,
that Badgett guy that started a couple of games last year. That's their number 2.
School, right?
Then so they're going to live or die with this guy, and I just don't know that he's good enough to live with at this point. Yeah.
All right, so we'll go over under 8.5 wins. I get that from DraftKings. I'll go first. I got them under 8.5 wins for this year. What do you have?
Yeah, I've got them sitting at 6-11, possibly 7-10. So I also have the under.
So we both have him going under. Larry says, I hope he's not, but I agree with you guys. And BP checking in. BP's also taking the under here. So there you have it, folks. We're one team. Go ahead. You got some
Yeah,
more.
I want to throw out a couple of fantasy plays here for for people that are involved in early drafts. Okay, I mean
Sure.
in deep in deep drafts, 16 rounds or whatever, Caleb Williams is worth a late round pick. DeAndre Swift, I wouldn't touch him before the 7th or 8th round. DJ Moore, I got right now as a top 10 receiver in the league. And that's based upon hoping that Williams does something. But Ozunde, I wouldn't touch him until after the 8th round. And Cole Kmet, I've got him as a top 10 tight end in the league. So that's
BP says, what about Keenan Allen?
Keenan Allen, I wouldn't even put. Well, again, if you're drafting 12 teams and 16 rounds, yeah, Keenan Allen will be on somebody's roster. But I mean, I couldn't put Keenan Allen on my team if you're only taking, let's say 12 teams, 12 guys. There's probably too much talent out there. I just don't see Keenan. I see, like I said, he's in the twilight of his career, and he's there more for the presence, I think, than he is for his ability.
I heard they give good presents at Christmas time in that locker room, so he probably is there for the presents.
Right. Because they didn't get any out in San Diego or LA.
BP says first time we've actually all agreed on something.
Yeah, there you go.
That's funny. We're moving on. Everybody's taking the under on the Bears. Larry, I hope it gets better for you, but we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. We're going on to the next team here, the Minnesota Vikings. Again, pretty similar. Obviously, same exact record as the Bears last year. They finished 7-10. They went 2-4 in the division. Head coach Kevin O'Connell. Key additions, which I still can't wrap my mind around this draft pick, is J.J. McCarthy. The one that I really enjoyed was Dallas Turner. I think he's going to be a big time player for them at linebacker. Aaron Jones at running back, Sam Darnold, and some help on the offensive line with Dan Feeney. They got let me see. DraftKings puts the over under on their wins and losses lower than the Bears. Is that what I'm reading correctly?
Yeah, and I can believe that. I agree with that, actually.
DraftKings has the Vikings over and under set at 6.5 wins. Not giving a whole lot of love to the Vikings here, but not for nothing. I don't think they deserve it. I don't like you talked about, and I know you got a lot to say about the Vikings here, but they don't have a quarterback. They got a great wide receiver. They have one of, if not the best wide receiver in the league, and they got nobody getting the ball. And I'm not sold that it's going to be J.J. McCarthy, and I'm definitely not sold that it's Sam Darnold. So, I don't see this team. I still don't understand the whole Kirk Cousins situation, and I just don't see this team. They were close, in recent years. They're on the brink and it just seemed to all go to hell.
They had 13 wins 2 years ago under Cousins, right?
Yeah,
they didn't play. I mean, yeah, okay. Granted, the Giants did knock them out, but they more than likely would have been a playoff team last year. Could have been. I mean, you don't know for sure, but before Cousins got hurt, like I said, I don't understand this team at all.
I'm not sure what they're trying to do or what they've done, but it's not necessarily good in my opinion. Talk to me a little bit about what you think, from an offensive defensive standpoint, and what the outlook looks for the Minnesota Vikings here.
Well, I mean, I'm going to make a prediction. This isn't my bold prediction for the evening, but it's a prediction that the Vikings are going to be the first team this year to change quarterbacks because of not because of necessity, but because of desire. And I
From
don't
who
know,
to who?
from Darnold to McCarthy. I mean, I honestly think Darnold's going to start, and I don't think it'll probably be maybe 4 weeks. This team could go 0-9 to start the season. I was looking at their schedule.
Right.
Yeah, so there's going to be a quarterback issue there. Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is definitely an upgrade from Alex Madison, but Aaron Jones is another one that, number one, he's so injury prone. Number two, he's on he's getting in for running backs into the twilight of his career. The good thing they do have going for him is that Minnesota does have a pretty decent offensive line. Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. I mean, they're two top receivers, okay? But again, who is going to get the ball to them? And who even knows what the hell Addison's deal is going to be? I mean, he just got arrested for DUI the other day.
Did he? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
Well, if you ask who, Dabo Sweeney or Mike Gundy, Mike Gundy said I've done that 1,000 times. So one of his, Mike Gundy, the head coach at Oklahoma State, said one of his guys got popped for DUI. He said he had 3 or 4 beers. He says I've done that 1,000 times.
Yeah. Well, right. The good message is said.
Yeah, exactly.
Just don't get caught.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I'm with you. I think we talked about it earlier about the uncertainty at the quarterback position. You're gonna go out and pay Justin Jefferson crazy money, all time money, for what he's done in the past, and not necessarily what he's done in the future. And you talk about it, and these guys, you start out at the Giants, and who knows what the Giants are going to be this year, and then you go San Fran, Houston, at Green Bay, the Jets with Aaron Rodgers back. You go into your bye, then you got Detroit, the Rams, and Indianapolis.
Yep.
I mean,
I'm saying they've got a tough start to the year, but it's not brutal. But they're just not that good.
Yeah. So
now, the good thing is that with their defense is okay, but their defense isn't great to where they're going to be giving up 13, 16 points a game. So the good thing is that Minnesota is probably going to have to chuck the ball a lot. So that could help them from a fantasy standpoint, but it could also, give Darnold 4 and 5 picks a game.
The over/under set at 6.5. I think this is a really close. I think it's a good line. I have them between. Listen, I have them 6 wins or 7 wins. So I'm going to go with my gut. This isn't my major pick of the night, but I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm going to say over because I think they're going to win 7.
Okay.
So what do you got?
And I've got them going 5-12 this year at best. So I'm under.
Under on the Vikings, 6.5. Excuse me. I got them going over by half of a game. We'll see what happens. The quarterback position, I just got no faith in it at all. So,
and from a fantasy standpoint, I mean, Darnold, McCarthy, stay away from them completely. Yeah. Aaron Jones, I'm looking, maybe 12th round and further in deep leagues. Jefferson, although he is going to have quarterback problems this year, he's still a top 5 receiver in the league. And I got Addison listed as a top 25 receiver, and I got Hawkinson in as a top 7 tight end. So,
there you have it. We're moving on to the next team in the NFC North. That brings us to the Green Bay Packers, who finished with a record of 9-8 last year, 4-2 in the division. They finished second in the division. Head coach Matt LaFleur, you might remember him from Aaron Rodgers days. Maybe the reason why Aaron Rodgers is no longer in Green Bay. One of the reasons, anyway. Key additions this offseason. Josh Jacobs, probably the biggest addition, one of the biggest additions to any team in the league this offseason. Josh Jacobs coming in as a running back. Andre Dillard coming in, solidifying some depth on the offensive line. Xavier McKinney coming in at safety, and Jordan Morgan also coming in. So clearly they want to, try and protect Jordan Love, who had a nice year last year. They showed there was times, Proffet, where he was probably the number one rated fantasy quarterback in the league, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he was, if not number one, he was damn close. There was a few weeks there where he was on a stretch where he just he was on fire.
Well, two of the last 3 weeks of the year, I remember they scored 33 points in week 16 and 17, I believe it was. They back to back hit the 33 pool.
Yeah,
and
doesn't happen very often like that. So
no, I mean it happens maybe 6 times a year, and they did it twice in consecutive weeks.
Some big time departures for them. Aaron Jones, David Bakhtiari, the offensive lineman. He's a big loss for them. John Runyon, and Jonathan Owens. They're losing about 100, maybe not 100 tackles there, but maybe 80 tackles or something like that. So they are losing some guys. They're replacing them with others, and that's the story of the year. Listen, I think with the addition of Josh Jacobs and if Jordan Love can play the way that he was playing last year, they have a young receiving core with Dobbs and Christian Watson, and who's the other guy? Reed, right? I think they got a nice young receiving core. If they can come in and Jacobs can do something in the run game, and they could protect Jordan Love and give him time, man. I think these guys got a chance to make some noise in this division for sure. And I kind of like them, and I'll let you go and give your breakdown, and then we'll talk about what we got wins and losses wise.
Well, I mean, as far as Jordan Love goes, and you've heard me say it numerous times here, with quarterbacks. I mean, they've done it 1 year. Let's see them do it a second year. Jordan Love is a little different in the respect that he's almost done it that way in 1 year. Okay, he started out last year and he didn't look all that good. But as time, each week he started getting better and better. And come, that last game against San Fran, when the Niners knocked him out of the playoffs, he still played exceptionally well. He progressively got better over the course of the season, and I think he's ready to become a top tier quarterback this year. And adding Josh Jacobs to the mix, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. That probably was one of the top free agent acquisitions of the season. Yeah, you get a guy that he's still young, he's still got fresh legs, and you got that receiving core. This team is going to be tough to stop. They offensively, they are not going to be easy to stop. And yeah, their O line is a little bit of a question mark, but their O line always seems to be a question mark. When even when Rodgers was there, but they always, I don't know who their coach is, their line coach is, but he always seems to get these guys to play well together, and I don't think that's going to be an issue this season. No.
You got the Packers opening up the NFL season, actually, right? Or no, right. Thursday.
No, Friday night.
I know they play Friday, but is there a Thursday night game?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're the second game of the season. They're playing. Right. They're playing the Eagles in Brazil, because that's exactly where I want to be playing my opening football game of the year in the NFL. But we've talked about it before. This has become such a damn money grab with all these international games. Just like I'm going off on a tangent here, but just like all the friggin' networks that are carrying games, right. They said you got to pay over. if you want to watch every single NFL game this year, you have to pay over like $800 and something between all the different networks that these games are on. It's absolutely astonishing. But yeah, anyway, back to the Packers. Yeah, so they start with the Eagles. They come back. They got Indianapolis, Tennessee, Minnesota. I mean, you're talking about 3-1 right there, possibly, maybe 4-0, depending on the Eagles. The Rams, Arizona Cardinals, the Texans is a tough game, and they come back and got Jacksonville and Detroit. So, DraftKings has. Okay.
I said they could start the season 7-3 or better.
Sure. 100%. DraftKings has got them at 9.5. I'm going to go over. I got them going. I think that they're going to be they got the ability to be one of the better teams in the league this year. So I'm over 9.5 wins.
Yeah, I think they're going to soar. They're going to soar from last year's record of 9-8, and I've actually got them going 12-5 this year.
Well, there you have it. I mean, if you think, if you got any inkling that the Packers are going to have a decent year, go in and throw your money on those futures, because the Packers are, you can make some good coin. And Proffet just said 12 wins, right? So 12 wins. You can go out there and
you could do
an alternate win line and put it at 11, and you're probably looking at what plus. I'm going to look that up right now.
3-1 maybe.
Go ahead and talk about your fantasy picks, and I'm going to look that up right now. What that would be for 12 wins.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Jordan Love as a top 10 quarterback this year. Based on his ability last year, plus the weapons that he has to throw to this year. I got Josh Jacobs as a top 5 running back. Again, I think this team is going to be tough to stop. You better bring your best defensive game when you play the Packers this year. As far as the receivers go, man, that's a tough call because, unfortunately, they change. His number one receiver changes from week to week.
That's a good thing. I mean, it's
a good thing for the quarterback, right? Yeah, right. It's not good. It's not good for the receivers when you're talking fantasy, though. Because I mean, if the defense is putting their number one corner on Dobbs this week, well, he's going to throw the ball to Dobbs a little bit, but he's going to be throwing more to Watson and Reed, and vice versa. So, I mean, I personally think that all three of them deserve to be in the top 30 of wide receivers, but personal preference is what I'm saying to everybody for, who you take first. You like Dobbs or you like Watson, take Watson. They're pretty much going to be interchangeable, I think. You could probably get 8 to 11 touchdowns out of all three of them this year, which means Love's going to have a big year.
Yeah. So if you want to go on to DraftKings and get the Packers at over 11.5 wins, all right. So it goes from like 6.5. No, it goes from 9.5 to 11.5. There's no 10.5, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So you want to get them at 11.5 wins. It's plus 285. So $200 lay will get you $770 in return. So not a bad little deal there. If you believe that the Packers are as good as you say they are, you got a chance to make some serious coin there here in the early going, playing a future. Because I guarantee you, if they start the year off 3-0 or 4-0, you're not getting that. You're not getting plus 285 for 11.5 wins. So
for sure,
get that in early if you guys want to get on it. We're going to move on to our last team of the evening here. The Detroit Lions, the division winners from last year, finished with a record of 12-5, 4-2 in the division. Though kind of tells you that hey, it's a tough division. You're not going to just run through the NFC North. You're not going to run roughshod in the NFC North. Head coach Dan Campbell, everybody's love story. I think I know my personal love story. Although he made one of the dumbest decisions in the playoffs last year, hopefully people have forgotten about that. He hopes people forgot about that. But in Detroit, I don't know how you possibly can forget about the bonehead call that he made in the playoffs. Listen, I forgot about it. I don't remember exactly what the call was, but I know that there was a bonehead call that he didn't kick a field goal, right?
He, that at the goal line with the not reporting, the
Oh yeah,
lineman
yeah,
not
yeah.
reporting, and yeah, he said he did, but
I'm talking
yeah,
about the playoff
but
game.
yes,
There was a chance
that
for
was the
him.
playoff game against Dallas.
Yeah, I don't know. There was different. They had a chance to win that game at the end, and he blew it by
Yeah,
a stupid
he
call.
didn't kick a field goal when he should
Yeah,
have.
that's what I'm
Right?
talking about.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but
so some key additions here. We got Terrion Arnold, cornerback from the draft, Ennis Rakestraw, uh, Kevin Zietler, offensive guard, and Marcus Davenport, defensive end. I can't say that I've know too much about the last two key departures. Teddy Bridgewater,
hmm,
Josh Reynolds, Vaitai, Haloti Noti, Vaitai, whatever, CJ Gardner Johnson, Jerry Jacobs. Over under wins. DraftKings has got these guys at 10.5. Prophet, you got into my head a little bit earlier because we're talking about it, and I like these guys. I like the Lions. I like the way they played last year, and I don't think that their departures don't really outweigh the they don't offset the wins and losses here. I don't think their departures are too uh, important, if so to speak.
nah, the only one really was Gardner Johnson, and he really didn't do a whole hell of a lot in Detroit.
Sure.
He didn't have the years that he had in Philadelphia. Yeah,
So they got the
Philadelphia.
whole squad coming back for the most part. Um, I just really like these guys. They play tough football. They play, uh, they're clean. I don't know. I got these guys winning a lot of games. I think, but you got into my head a little bit, man, and I'm a little nervous now because I'm like, what the hell does he know that I don't know? Because I know you're going to go off here in a second, and you're gonna say something, and you're gonna drop some knowledge. It's gonna counteract what I've come up with. You got a quarterback that threw for almost 5,000 yards. You got two 1,000-yard receivers. I'm sorry. You got a 1,500-yard receiver in St. Brown, and then you got almost 1,000-yard receiver in your tight end with Laporta, and then you got a 1,000-yard rusher in Montgomery, and then Jahmyr Gibbs is like friggin' awesome too. He came on at the end too. Like I just don't. You talk about an explosive offense with the Packers. These guys got an explosive offense, and they have the offensive line to do it too, which the Packers don't have. I don't see a whole lot of teams stopping them offensively, but I'm curious to hear what you have to say because clearly you don't agree.
No. I mean, yes, they're a good team. There's no denying that. Okay, but I mean, Jared Goff for starters, he's my biggest concern. Okay, I haven't seen him put together 2 years in a row since he's been in the league. Can he do it again this year? I'm saying no. Okay, um, they've got they've got probably the best two-headed monster in the running back with Montgomery and Gibbs. Receiver wise, they're not that good. I mean, you got St. Brown who is legit, but after that you got Jamison Williams
Yeah, I would
and
agree. I would agree with you there, but you got Laporta too, and not for
but
nothing, but
right.
how many times in the league does a good tight end supplement for a wide receiver? It happens often. It happened with Kelsey. It happened a couple years with Darren Waller and the Raiders. It happens with Kittle. It happens it happens a lot. So I will put Laporta in there as a
No,
receiver. You know,
absolutely. Laporta is a top star. Okay, and they they did well on in the defensive backfield, which was a little bit of their Achilles heel last year. Getting a couple of corners that they got out of the draft, a couple of high ranking corners actually.
yeah.
Um, you know, Again, it just goes back to golf for me. And here, I put together a couple interesting numbers, for you with Jared Goff on the road. Okay, he had 9 games, not including the playoffs last year. He had 9 games last year on the road. He averaged 259 per game throwing. He threw 11 TDs in 9 games.
Huh.
He had 6 interceptions, and he had a quarterback rating of 90.9 in his
On the
9
road.
games on the road, which at home he was up around 110 for his QB rating, and obviously monster numbers at home. He doesn't fare well on the road. And I said I was making a prediction earlier about Darnold. I'm making a bold prediction right now that Herndon Hooker is going to create a quarterback controversy in Detroit this year. And Goff may get hurt for a game or two, and Hooker's going to come in and do the job, and there's going to be a controversy out there.
Hooker's been, you're such a homer. Hooker's been your guy since Tennessee.
Well,
And he's
it
been,
doesn't. Yes,
and
he
he's been your
has.
guy when he came into the league.
Well,
And
he
you're
came
just
into
waiting
the
for him
league
to get it
last year,
right.
and he was hurt, and he's now listed as the number 2 quarterback. And Goff, I'm telling you, I'm just not sold on Goff, Sling, and that's the reasoning for my pick here. They're going to win their share of games, for sure. They got too much talent, but I'm leery about Goff, and I have a bad feeling that he is going to have an off year this year, probably more like 2 years ago when he first went to Detroit. And if that happens, there's going to be a controversy, because right now they want nothing less than the Super Bowl.
Right. And I think you mentioned Hooker possibly creating a controversy. I mean, the guy can play. Like, there's no doubt that he can play. He's got one of the biggest arms in the NFL. I've seen this kid throw friggin' 70 yards off his back foot, so there's no doubt that he's got the arm to do it. It's, I haven't seen enough of him to know how good he is, but it's interesting because, you're not the only person that said what you said about Goff and, not being able to play on the road, not being clutch, not being able to get it done when he needs to get it done. So it'll be interesting to see if the Lions can make, any progress off of their year last year. Listen, they had 12 wins last year. It ain't easy to do that twice in a row.
No,
but
sure.
I'm going to go on the record, and I'm going to say that they're going over 10.5 wins. I like this team. The beauty of, I'm going to hold that one for later, but I like this team. I think that they can get, I think that they can get 11 wins and not have an issue. So I'm going over 10.5. What do you got?
Well, of course, I've got them at 10-7, possibly 11-6. And that being the case, the number falls, right in between them two. So you went over for the sake of not, just to have something different. I'm going under, because my first pick was 10-7, not 10-6, 10-7.
Are you documenting these picks, by the way?
No, I thought you were.
No, I'm documenting the bets.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll document them then.
What's going on with your camera there, Proffet? You still with us?
Wyatt 6 is coming.
That does look like the Wyatt 6. Anyway, we're just about done here, so if you got to just stay in with the audio, just hang with us. Obviously some technical difficulties on Prophet's end with the camera, but you knew it was too good to be true, because you don't usually have very good luck with that camera anyway, Prophet, right?
Exactly.
So that's our breakdown of the NFC North. I thought it went pretty well. I'm sorry, you have some fantasy picks there?
Oh yeah, for the Detroit, yeah. I got Goff as a late 8-round plus pick, and only use it home unless you don't have a better option. I got Gibbs as a top 5 back, Montgomery is a top 12 back. St. Brown is a top 13 receiver. And Laporta is a top 5 tight end.
Yeah, I like Laporta, and he was on my team last year and kind of carried me through. So again, that's wrapped up the NFC North. Wait, did we so
We
judging by our numbers, I know we didn't do our bet, but judging by our numbers, who's winning the NFC North?
I have Green Bay winning, but you have Detroit.
Yeah, I got Detroit. All right, so our bet, like I said, we're doing something a little bit different this year. Last year we started off with $500, 500 points, and we went from there throughout the year. This year we're starting off with we're going big here, right, Prophet?
Right.
You said 3,100.
3,100. Yeah. 8
so we're doing
200.
We're doing 3,100 points to start. Okay. We have 8 weeks of divisional breakdowns. Every week, we're going to put a $200 lay down on our best play over under for that division. Okay, it could be over or under wins, but every week we're going to put $200 down. That'll get us down to 1,500 points to start the season. Once the season comes around, and we'll be able to play from there. Prophet, you ready to give your $200 pick?
Yes, I am, and I'm sorry to say this, Larry, but my top play in this division is taking the Bears under the 8.5. Like I said, I have them winning 6 games. I think it was, and it's too good a bet, and I'm getting a plus 140 on it, so I'm laying 200 to win $480. It's too good to pass up.
Yeah, and you had me thinking about my pick, and I'm going 200 on the Lions over 10.5. But you really have me thinking here, and I probably should have went back because I'm more confident in the Packers going over their wins and losses versus the Lions going over theirs. But I'll have to keep that in mind for the future. But I got 200 on the Lions over 10.5. 200 will get me back 348. All right. So Prophet,
so
you got
negative here.
I'm sorry.
So you're a minus with your over.
Oh
there,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think it's minus 135.
Right.
So again, Prophet going under 8.5 wins for the Bears. Sling going over 10.5 wins for the Lions. We'll document that, and we'll check in at the end of the year and see how much money we can make from these divisional bets. I think it's pretty cool to follow along with it for the year. But Prophet, that's going to wrap it up for us this week. I don't think we're not going to do any plays of the week until the season rolls around, because nobody really wants to see our baseball bets or anything like that. So that's going to wrap it up for us for this week. But I thought it was a pretty good show, right? We come back and we dive right into it, and we get after it, and we kind of attack the NFC North and dissected that. And hey, we even had an old buddy of Brandon popping in and saying hello. So it was good to have you guys back. It's good to be back on the air. We're live.
Absolutely.
We're live every week. From here on out until the future, until the foreseeable future, until the Super Bowl or whatever it is. So we're back. We're live every week. Make sure you're tuning in, telling all your friends. We got a lot of exciting stuff. Like I said, we're going to do some pools. As always, we're going to have the plays of the week and stuff like that too. So make sure you're joining us next Wednesday, 7:30, live here for the Sling'n Proffet podcast. Prophet, what do you got to say to the Profiteers, man? I know they can't see you, but they can hear you.
Thanks, guys. And, this was a great back show, and it's only going to get better from here on out.
Sure
Looking
is.
forward to seeing you.
And we'll make sure that Prophet sticks around the whole time with his camera.
Right. Not
Good
just
to see
my
you.
voice.
Good to see you too, Larry. We'll see you next week, guys.
Take
Next
care,
time on the
everybody.
Sling'n Proffet podcast, baby.